Yo, this is the Fight Block, changing things up a little bit. No video this time, just audio. Been really busy, new job, and just mixing things up. Hopefully the audio is okay. I got a rock band microphone, USB plugged into the computer, so a little bit of a ghetto setup, but it should do the trick. UFC Rio, aka UFC Brazil, live this Saturday. Some awesome fights. This is going to be a really, really good card. Every fight in the main card has a Brazilian in it representing their country. So there's going to be a lot of passionate fights, and I'm just really looking forward to this card. So that being said, I'm going to do a quick rundown on my main card predictions, starting off with Luis Kane, representing Brazil, taking on Stanislav Nedkov. Now, I don't know much about Nedkov. I do know he's undefeated in his MMA career. He has several finishes, TKO, submissions. I'm pulling up his record right now, but Luis Kane came into the UFC, just was on a huge roll, and then he got finished a couple times, just going off my memory. And although Luis Kane, he is good, he's got solid stand-up, I just don't think he's great. And I was talking to my buddy Matt, who was huge on Nedkov, and just says the guy's a beast, and I'm going to go with his word. And I'm picking Stanislav Nedkov to TKO Luis Kane in the second round. Going on to the next fight, Ross Pearson taking on Edson Barbosa. I wish I could pull up the fighter's details a little bit more, but my computer is frozen, and I've only got the card in front of me. But Ross Pearson takes on Edson Barbosa. Barbosa, man, I've been extremely impressed. Just had a solid win against Anthony Njokuani. It was a striking battle. Almost finished Barbosa almost finished Njokuani in that fight with the final seconds of the third round through some crazy spinning heel kick that landed and knocked Njokuani down and dazed him. But anyways, I've just been extremely impressed by Barbosa. He's got vicious leg kicks, and Ross Pearson, he's no joke, Ultimate Fighter winner, and he was on a little bit of a roll. I know he suffered a loss. I don't remember who beat him, but he's bounced back, won his last fight, and looking to continue the momentum. But I'm just, like I said, I've been very impressed by Edson Barbosa. I think Barbosa will utilize his leg kicks. Most of this fight I see just taking place on the feet. It should be a stand-up battle, and I'm just going to give the edge to Barbosa. I think he'll land more strikes, and especially if he can utilize that leg kick, he can wear Ross Pearson down. So I'm taking Edson Barbosa to win this fight by unanimous decision. On to the next fight. It's the up-and-coming heavyweight Brendan Schaub taking on Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. It's been a long time since we've seen Nogueira in the octagon. I believe his last fight was his loss to Cain Velasquez. He got finished for the first time in his career. Since then, I mean, it's been at least a year, I think, since we've seen Nogueira. And Brendan Schaub, he's been on a tear, knocking out Crow Cop viciously in his last fight. Bounced Crow Cop's head off the ground after he knocked him down. But I mean, that's against Crow Cop, who hasn't knocked Crow Cop out these days. But Brendan Schaub, big win to put under his cap over Crow Cop, and he's looking to once again take out another legend in the sport of Nogueira. This is, I mean, I just see this as this fight as a case of the younger fighter taking on an older fighter, and just the younger fighter being too fast, too strong, and Nogueira definitely has the better technical boxing, but he's definitely the slower of the two fighters, and I think speed will be a huge factor in this fight. I know Nogueira, he can take a beating. Like I said, his last fight was the first time he had ever been finished when he was TKO'd by Velasquez. So he's a tough guy to finish. He's pretty much like a zombie. I forget, Frank Mir said something like, you knock him down, you just can't kill him, or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, Nogueira, extremely hard to finish. So it's going to take a lot for Schaub to end this fight. But with that being said, I think Shaw will catch Nogueira, and the reason Velasquez beat Big Nog was because, unlike his previous fights, looking back at Nogueira's fight with Heath Herring, Herring knocked Nogueira down, pretty much had him dazed and out, but rather than pounding on him with 30 seconds left, Heath Herring let Nogueira stand up and really had the opportunity to finish Nogueira in that fight, and then Herring went on to lose that fight. But anyways, so I think the key to beating Nogueira is when you knock him down, you got to pounce on him, use your speed to not let him recoup. And I just see Brendan Schaub, much like Velasquez, connecting and jumping all over Nogueira and not giving him a chance to recover. And I mean, Schaub just has to be careful if he does knock down Nogueira, that if this fight does go to the ground, he doesn't get caught trying to finish, because Nogueira is extremely dangerous from the ground. With that being said, I'm taking Brendan Schaub to win this fight by TKO in the third round. Going on to the co-main event, it's a rematch between Mauricio Shogun Rua and Forrest Griffin. Shogun, coming off of that TKO finish against John Jones, lost his title. Pretty much just got destroyed in that fight. Looked kind of slow, but I don't know if that's just because he took a lot of shots early. And John Jones is just a beast. In their first fight, it was Forrest Griffin taking the win in the third round. It was Shogun's UFC debut, coming over from Pride. Looked extremely out of shape. And Forrest was able to take him to the ground, beat him, use his size to lay on top, and then was able to submit Shogun with a rear naked choke in the final moments of the fight. It was probably the biggest win in Forrest Griffin's career, shocked a lot of people, and Griffin is going to be out to prove that that win was no fluke and that he can once again defeat Shogun. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I think it'll be a good one. I give the stand-up advantage, the technical stand-up advantage to Shogun. He definitely has more of the power punch. Forrest isn't really known as a finisher, but he's definitely a brawler. And I think we'll get a great fight from this. Forrest is going to bring it to Shogun. But I think Forrest could utilize his size once again, get on top of Shogun, avoid Shogun's submissions, and put a beating on Shogun on the ground. And even if this fight is on the feet, it's very difficult to beat Forrest in a decision. Forrest is constantly throwing punches. He's constantly landing. And I'm going to give Forrest Griffin the win on this. I think he's going to grind out another decision. And, I mean, it seems like Shogun's cardio has been questionable in his past few fights. And especially if this fight gets to the third round, we know how good Griffin's cardio is, that he could really turn on the jets and put it to Shogun. So, in my pick in this fight, I'm taking Forrest Griffin by decision. Should be a good fight. Hopefully, Shogun comes in healthy. His knees are always sort of questionable, even though he says he's 100%. And hopefully he comes in shape. And if fighting in your home country isn't enough motivation, then I don't know what is. So I expect a healthy and conditioned Shogun to come out and look to finish Forrest in Brazil. So it should be a good fight, and I know Forrest has a lot to prove, and showed us Shogun. A win over Forrest would definitely keep Shogun Rua right there in title contention and at the top of the order for possible contendership fights. So big fight for both of these guys. Moving on to the main event. Anderson Silva against Yushin Okami. Yushin Okami is probably one of the most, is in a position where I think he is the most deserved. Pretty much Okami has been denied a title shot at least twice, maybe on 3 different occasions. He's fought all the way up to the title fight, and he's pretty much the number one contender, and then either something happened, and they gave him another fight, and he lost. In this case, I believe he lost to Chael Sonnen in a decision fight where rather than waiting around for a title shot, he decided to take another fight and then unfortunately lost. So, pretty much I think Yushin Okami is one of the more deserving fighters to get a title shot. It's been a long time coming. He's definitely the best Asian fighter there is right now. I know Dana White has said that, and he's really proven that he can hang with the best, and he's got an interesting style. Like he's not really a finisher. He's got solid grappling, and he can hang with you on the feet. And so he's very well rounded. But he doesn't really have the finisher's punch. And Anderson Silva, I mean, what to say? Pound for pound, best fighter in the world. Defended his title 9 times, and just probably the best of all time, you could probably say right now. And a fight in his home country, a win in his home country, would be huge for his career and just his legacy. And I think Silva's just going to come out and feed off the fire of the crowd and finish Okami. I mean, this is how Okami wins the fight. He's been training with Chael, so Chael has the blueprint to sort of defeat Silva, which is take Silva to the ground, lay on top of him, avoid submissions, finish him if you can, or grind out a decision. Okami's got solid grappling. He's big, and he's got better submission defense than Chael Sonnen. So if he's able to implement this game plan, get Silva to the ground, lay on top of him, keep busy, avoid submissions, he can pull off an upset. You can't count Okami out in this fight. The guy could definitely surprise. That being said, just going on my intuition and my inner thoughts of how this fight might play out, I see it a lot like how I saw the Carlos Condit Dong Young Kim fight. Dong Young Kim, the grappler, bigger fighter, could grab a hold of Condit and hold him down on the ground and grind out a decision, or you get a crazy knockout like you saw Condit with that flying knee over Dong Young Kim. And I think this is how that fight's going to go down. Maybe Okami grabs a hold of Silva, holds him to the ground for a couple rounds, but I think there'll be that moment where Silva will connect with Okami and finish. It's just a spectacular finish, whether it be submission or knockout. I think Silva is going to come out, and this is just going to be a huge staple. This fight is going to be a huge staple in his legacy. And it's a huge fight, home country. He knows it, and it's just an overall possibly one of the biggest fights in Silva's career in terms of cementing a legacy. And I think he's gonna do that, and he's gonna finish Okami in spectacular fashion, whether it be by knockout or submission. I see it as a knockout, and I think it may come early. I'm picking Anderson Silva to win by knockout in the second round. Okami though, he's a durable fighter. I wish I could pull up. Let me see. I don't think he's ever been knocked. Oh, he's the only time has been knocked out was his first fight. I forgot to mention this is a rematch, and their first fight, Yushin Okami won by disqualification because Anderson Silva did an up kick and knocked him out on the ground. That was early in the fight. Okami was able to grab a leg and just kind of trip Silva to the ground, and he sat in Silva's guard, and really Silva looked like he didn't really have anywhere to go, and Okami just looked like he was content to sit there, and then I think he was trying to change positions, or he postured up, and then Silva just threw a kick, and Okami went flat down, and the eyes rolled back. He came to pretty quick, but he was definitely knocked out. Other than that, I don't think Okami's ever been knocked out. He got TKO'd once early in his career, back in 2003. He lost by TKO. But other than that, man, Okami is a durable fighter, and he's tough to finish. But with that being said, I think Silva's going to knock him out. This is the Fight Block UFC Rio live this Saturday. Just apologize for the short posting of my predictions, also lack of video. Like I said, I've been extremely busy, moved, new job, and just mixing up the style. Going to see how this comes out. And I feel like it's easier to sort of just ramble on a microphone than ramble on a video. I don't know. Sometimes it's a little weird recording yourself, but and talking just to nobody. But anyways, so hopefully this new style is okay. And if I find myself with more time, I'll bring back the video, or vice versa, and just keep or bring back the audio if the audio turns out to be good. Anyways, I'm rambling. Should be some great fights. There's two televised fights also on Spike TV. Rami Palhares takes on Dan Miller, and Thiago Tavares takes on Spencer Fisher. Both those fights should be awesome and good. So check those out on Spike. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Hit up the Twitter. Fight_block. Follow me there. I post a lot of little bits, and check out the blog at www.fightblock.blogspot.com. I'm going to try and get my homeboy Matt to write up some more stuff. He's pretty good at that. So thanks for listening. Enjoy the fights. Should be some good ones. Peace.